What is that? This could be the next latest trend for hair wigs. It could be a table centerpiece, floral runner, or just garland for your mantle. It could be whatever you want it to be. Regardless, it is beautiful, and it is what we are making in today's video. The first thing we're going to do is cheat and steal. Let me explain. All garland is essentially the same underneath. It has the same skeleton, which is just wiring. Sometimes it's a single wire, sometimes it's multiple layers of wires. So when I say steal, I mean I like to buy a pre-made garland and either decorate on top of it or strip it of its material and use the base, because otherwise I have to know what gauge of wire to buy, know how long it needs to be, then I have to make sure I have the right tools for cutting the wire, then I have to deal with twisting it together, and do I need to go on? Just take my word for it, save yourself the effort, buy some pre-made garland. The only requirement is that it needs to have good bones. So what do good bones look like? If it's difficult to bend, then you know it's good. Never judge by price. This is an example of some garland that I got from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to strip the ivy leaves because I only want its spine. That's what I call this. And usually you want them to be the same circumference as a pencil. Now it's not the appropriate length, so I'm actually just going to take 3 different garlands and twist them all together to achieve the desired length that I need. The next step is what I call the star strategy, and that's where I look at who the star is. What is the main attraction that is going to be essentially the focal point of the design on the garland? And today that happens to be some velvet pumpkins. So now I need to create some more secure structure for them. This part was not meant to be filmed in speed mode, and then we lost some footage. So let me actually go grab a piece of wire and redo this part for you. All I'm doing, taking that hole, and then you don't have to secure it, but I'll just pull those other ends of that wire in so that I have a circle, and I do this about 6 different times in that garland.
I don't even know what that means.
What we're doing is it's kind of like creating a lily pad for like a lotus flower. The garland wire is a flat line, and we're trying to put a round object on it. So naturally, the round object is very vulnerable to falling off because it's not that secure. We need something round to hold something round. Now, pretend you didn't see those pumpkins, and let's backtrack for a minute. I always start everything from the origin of a color palette. I sometimes will see a picture of something somewhere that will spark my inspiration, which is what happened here. I saw this picture in the catalog on the Grandin Roads website for their Enchanted Mansion collection, which is this absolutely stunning, really unique color palette of jewel tones. Seeing jewel tones is like the equivalent of seeing an infinity stone. They are so incredibly rare and unique, and when you see something in this color palette, they're usually really expensive, and this definitely was. So my original intention was to just remake this in a more budget-friendly version, and I just so happened to see some velvet pumpkins that were the exact same color palette that were going to be released in the fall for the Dollar Tree's decorations. So I immediately started stocking all of the multiple locations in my area, and I started driving to different locations every day so that I could ensure to have like first dibs when they came out, because I knew they were going to sell out super fast. And guess what? Despite my due diligence and unwavering dedication, I got the last 6 on the shelf, and I did not even get the colors I wanted. No jewel tones for me. So this completely crushes my dreams and ruins my plans. But you know what? We're just going to make it work. We are going to just keep it moving with what we have. These pumpkins are just styrofoam covered in fabric, so they are very lightweight. They're very easy to attach to something. They don't weigh much. I'm going to take some floral wire. They look like short sticks. You can find them in any garden section of a craft store. And I'm just going to poke them into the styrofoam on the bottom of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to take the other end of the floral wire and wrap it around the base of the garland spine. Obviously, you don't have to do this part. It's completely optional. I'm not crazy about these floral wires, but the reason that I do it this way is because I don't like to permanently attach anything in the beginning, because I want to leave myself room to change my mind and move things around several times. So this method of rough drafting the placement of the objects by just loosely attaching them to the garland, it ends up saving me time in the long run. Now, originally I was planning on going to get some really good high quality fake flowers for this garland, but I decided to try out a few different flowers that I had picked up from the Dollar Tree just to see if they would match, and it just kind of organically happened that they all matched and worked out perfectly as if I had planned it. I had quite a few of these, but I needed some lighter flowers to add in the ends here to create some symmetry and balance of light and dark. And unfortunately, they didn't have any more of these ivory dahlias, but they did have these ivory beige sunflowers, so I just added those on the ends instead, and they worked out really beautifully. All flowers are beautiful in their own right, but there's only one flower that resembles a timeless token of love: the rose. Roses are a must in anything floral I make because they immediately stimulate the feeling of warmth and romance. I decided on a blush rose, and these ones are from Michael's. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take about 4 or 5 of these. I'm going to take some pliers and cut off the stem, and then where the stem was, I'm going to insert one of these Bow Genius floral wires right into the hole where the previous artificial stem was, and then I'm going to use that flexible floral wire to attach my rose to the base of the garland. And again, just like I said earlier, I will go behind everything and make it really secure with some added hot glue from my glue gun, but this is still the stage where I'm just adding everything and making sure it looks good where it is before I make it permanent. At this point, we have enough flowers that are the same size, and now we need to bring in some smaller ones or some things to create some dimension and texture. So I'm going to do that by adding these 2 different styles of flowers along with some berry picks. I was afraid these were going to look a little too cheap, but I just tested them out first and put them inside as a kind of buffer to cover that garland. And honestly, these drove it home because they ended up just perfectly harmonizing all of the flowers together and making them blend into one cohesive look. I wish I could have got my hands on more, but they were all sold out. Now, the lighting in my kitchen area where I was working was really poor and not doing it justice, so I had to bring it out into my living room area in front of my TV because it's the only area that had the appropriate lighting to really capture how beautiful these colors are. They're just, again, so stunning. And if I'm being honest, I've been working on Halloween, so there wasn't exactly any room left on the mantle anyway.